for head coach Tricia Stafford Odom. And this program's had to train through unprecedented circumstances. Campbell much the same. And here we go, Aaron. It's time to start this basketball year.
This basketball season starting 15 days later than it usually would, than it was supposed to. Excited to have tip-off here.
Anissa Rivera and Ashlyn Hampton off for the tip, and away we go in Buies Creek, North Carolina. NC Central has never won in this building, 0-5 all-time. And on the first possession, a turnover on the floor, Tooley taking it away. Here's Serrano slowing things down. As this Campbell squad won 21 games last year, but they have to replace their top two senior leaders in Haley Barber and Kiana Spade.
Not only were they leaders, they were huge defensive presences. They were very tough. They led this team with the physicality that they played with. It's something that Coach Fisher wants to see today.
Much as Coach Ronnie Fisher feared for Campbell, turnovers for each team to open up this game. And there's Ashton Lockhart denied by McNamara Clement. And Rivera cleans it up for our first points. NC Central run the 1-2-2 trap. They forced 20 turnovers when these teams met in Durham, and a jump ball gives possession to Campbell, but there's that pressure from Central.
I love that pressure from the Central defense there. They have two players that collapse on the ball handler and leave her with nowhere to go. She gets tripped up and then obviously turns the ball over.
Campbell giving Tatiana Carver, number 5 in the white, her first start in 3 years at the point guard position. Here's Elmack in the post, denied. And a reach-in foul on Sherelle Washington, the junior out of Cape Coral, Florida. And that's an area Ronnie Fisher wanted to get involved with his post players.
He mentioned several times in talking to him this week that he wants his team to play tough. He emphasized that so many times, compete with passion. He wants to see if they will be competitive.
Big part of their success at home was balanced scoring. No player averaged more than 9 points a game. And still searching for their first points of the year. That's a free throw from the senior out of Raleigh. Keisha White, you see that hair. She is certainly one to watch.
It's not only her hair that stands out, but it's going to be her play on the court as well.
15 points a game last year as Nicole Hope goes with the left. That's way off. And a scrappy defensive board by Carver. Already feeling the physicality in his first 2 minutes. As Serrano's left open and can't finish. There's Nicole Hope, the ECU transfer, in for the rebound.
It was a good thought, though, the drive and kick. Serrano was open on the outside, just couldn't get the ball to fall.
Central last season, 65 points a game. They work in the post all night with Rivera, who is tipped. She wanted a foul, and Hampton with the clean piece. Carver and White, one-on-one. As she sets up Serrano. You could tell a little bit of trepidation from both these teams early offensively. They're combined 1 of 6 shooting.
With the way that this season has started, there's not been a lot of opportunities to get a lot of time on the court playing. It's probably going to be a little bit slower before these teams can settle in.
Rivera, all conference last year in the MEAC, wastes no time getting her first points. Remember, this Campbell team lost its starting point guard and a three-point shooter in Kiana Spate, who set a program record for threes. Where's the offense going to come from? And it starts with Shai Tooley.
There's your answer right there, Shai Tooley. She averaged 9 points per game last season, but she is a big threat from outside. She's a tremendous scorer with some size out there.
She's made 110 three-pointers in her career. That's the first of the season for head coach Ronnie Fisher's squad. Keisha White giving her right, scoops it up and can't finish. Well, we have a foul on Rivera reaching over the top. That's her first. And you see Ronnie Fisher going deep into his bench early in this first frame. He had mentioned in a year like this how all 13 of his players have to be ready to start.
Absolutely. You don't know what's going to happen this season. There's so many uncertainties with games being canceled, the COVID testing protocols. Everyone has to be ready to go at the drop of the hat, and that's what he's asked them to do every day. Prepare and practice like you could get the call tomorrow.
As you guys see with the benches laid out like this, players are socially distant. Both teams have gone through their spells of quarantine periods. And we have an armbar foul on Central, second team foul. And that'll be the challenge for both these squads, because even for NC Central, Tricia Stafford-Odom, the head coach, said, we want to play fast, but we also have to balance those minutes here in game one.
And that's why she said that her best move she's made as a coach was to hire Jason Bouya, the director of player personnel. He is somebody that has been working with these teams to work with their bodies. He's a strength and conditioning coach from North Carolina. So he's really helped to get these players game ready.
As Serrano gives Campbell its first lead of the game. Bouya spent nearly a decade with Sylvia Hatchell and that crew up at North Carolina. Stafford-Odom, who played at Cal Berkeley herself, and there's Bolden drawing the offensive foul. The charge there on Sherelle Washington. And already these first 4 minutes, Aaron, the physicality has been notched up.
If you're not getting your shots to fall on the offensive side, it is great when you can get stops on the defense like Bolden was able to do there. Coach Fisher has to be happy with what he's seen from her so far.
In that matchup last year, Campbell doubled the foul total of Central, and we already see it in these first 4 minutes, nearly flipping the script completely. That's a dangerous shooter to leave open, and Thule connects.
And she was deep outside as well. That's where she hit her last one. We've got to watch that spot. The Eagles need to make sure that they're not letting her sit in that sweet spot.
The junior guard, preseason second team all-conference in the Big South. Now Central searching for a response. Here's Washington way off, and Thule in there to clean it up. Campbell wants to run in this first quarter, and they run it away. Right back to Keisha White. Space and pace as White cuts in and draws a foul. She's going to the line.
That's what Coach Stafford-Odom wants the Eagles to do. She said she really wants them to put the ball on the floor, drive the lane. She wants them to run and gun and get to the rim for easier buckets.
Keisha White, the senior out of D.C., last year led this team with 22 games in double figures, an electric scorer. And right now she's looking for her first points of the season.
When we were talking to Coach on the phone earlier this week, she said that White came in, knocked on her door and said, hey, Coach, I got all A's this semester. So doesn't that mean that you should have a party for me? And Coach said that's just a representation of the leadership that she's been developing while White has been there.
Remember, White came in and had some academic trouble her first semester, had to sit out a couple of games, but here she is now as a senior, leading her squad as a vocal leader with the all-conference forward, Paulina Afriye, off to graduation. But both these teams, the luxury they have, despite the COVID offseason, they return 3 to 4 starters and have some depth to play with. Locker jumps in front of the pass, and that's out of play. I'll be curious this year to see as well, you see Lockard with the face mask on, how many players will keep those policies in place and how it affects their play.
All of the players, coach and staff, anybody that has any interaction with these players are being COVID tested several times a week, but it is up to the players, their level of comfort and how they feel playing, obviously in close proximity to these other athletes.
And we have a timeout on the court. We'll take the break as well. Campbell up 3 here in this first quarter on ESPN+.
Hard work, a love for the game, is mandatory down here. Sacrifice, a desire to be great, lives down here.
Perez open 3, yes!
Excellence, the will to compete, persists down here.
For the win.
This is the Big South, where winners are made.
I can't believe it. That Chad really was raised by wolves.
Which one's your mother?
Oh, that's her right there.
Oh, gosh.
No. I can't believe how easy it was to save hundreds of dollars on my car insurance with Geico. It's really great.
Well, I'm just so glad to have met your beautiful family, and we better be sitting down now.
Believe it, Geico could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Bom boy.
boy.
Discover the new language of travel. Marriott Bonvoy. 30 hotel brands, endless experiences, rewards reimagined.
Musco Lighting. We make it happen.
It's bow time.
Dad, we're hungry.
Yep, to the grill. No.
Out of gas on game day? Drop a big bow box on it. Game on. Feed a family of 4 with 8 pieces of scratch-made chicken, biscuits, fixins, and tea.
It's bow time.
Welcome back inside Gore Arena. You see these socially distant benches taking place. And for Campbell head coach Ronnie Fisher, he prides his team on defense and rebounding. How does that translate from one year to the next?
Coach Fisher said it doesn't. Said, while I'm here as a head coach at Campbell, this team will be about defense, but it's up to the individual players to commit to that. Each player has to take the court with a certain mentality that they're going to be tough. They're going to hustle. They're going to come with effort on every single play.
One of the players that embodies that is the senior Taya Bolden out of Richmond, Virginia, who has really improved her free throw shooting, as a matter of fact. Last year it jumped up to nearly 70% after a disappointing sophomore year at the line. And the presence is paying off with 2 straight. Now Campbell implores a press, as Central has already had some turnover woes in this first quarter. 2 of them, in fact.
Central's shown the ability to get down the court in a hurry. Campbell wanting to apply some defensive pressure, try to slow them down.
There's Faith Price drawing a jump ball with Khadijah Demery, the sophomore from Brooklyn, New York. Demery was the best scoring option off the bench last year for this Central club. And they'll need some options today with already 4 fouls, 5 fouls in fact. So Campbell in the bonus for the rest of this quarter. As Lockhart drives a foul on Bolden, that's her first. Whistles told the story in that matchup last year, 40 combined fouls between the 2 clubs.
That game at Central, Eagles winning 67-64, very tight game.
Their first ever win over Campbell in the series. That dates back to 2009. And Serrano making life tough for Keisha White, the senior guard. Playing off the pick. Step back for White, and it's perfect.
Bolden had the right idea. She had her hands up. She was looking to contest the shot. White just drains it.
Bolden right to the basket, and Lockhart says no, sir. Wow, what a denial by the sophomore out of Tracy, California. She wants it on the other end, no good. And both teams playing defense. That is off the leg of Serrano. And the pressure of Faith Williams in there to knock it loose. White triggers it in. Not only is she the top scorer returning, she's 9th best in the MEAC last year, but way off on that shot. Now Campbell looking to build on a 3-point lead. And this is a Campbell offense that not only loses 2 seniors, but 2 players averaging 9 points. It's going to be a different style of scoring for this group.
It's definitely going to be an offense by committee. They're going to need points from everybody on the squad. easy way to get them is when you can get to the line like Bolden does. It's a good way to spark some offense into the squad, obviously getting her last 2 at the line.
Talk about a way to end her start of 2020. Bolden had 19 points and 18 rebounds in her final game, electing to come back for her redshirt senior year, the Richmond product. Now looking to build on 2 early points for the Camels.
The way that the season ended last year, it was an abrupt finish. She was doing so well at the end of the season, and then not to play for so many months. It'll be interesting to see if she does in fact pick up right where she left off.
A lot of communication going on as these teams make substitutions. And it's a different way now, especially for even the coaches, because only one coach can stand up. There's distancing with the assistants on the staff, and here's a turnover with Central giving it away off the body of Williams.
Well, you mentioned the distancing. It's something that Coach Fisher said was extremely important for his team to figure out because they rely so much on being there, supporting each other. He said that they count high fives during practice because they want to show their support for each other, and they need to find a way to bring the energy in the game without being able to have any of that type of physical contact.
Here's Khadijah Demery forcing a turnover, and she gives it right back. Already in this first frame, 7 giveaways between the clubs. Here's Michaela Coleman, who's back from an ACL injury last year, only played 8 games. A spark plug on defense that Ronnie Fisher would love to see back. As Coleman slashes in and gets the friendly bounce.
Coleman showing her toughness right there, fighting in the lane for that shot. Coach said as soon as she can just get back into that rhythm that you mentioned, he really does expect a lot out of Coleman this year.
Here's a pocket corner pass and a quick 3 from Faith Williams. Timeout, Ronnie Fisher. As Central hits its first 3 of the ball game, and the Eagles are back within 3. Aaron, this NC Central club coming in with so much momentum, and that was the one thing that Tricia Stafford Odom preached to us in this offseason. She wants to recruit a different style of player here to this program.
She said she wants to recruit players that you might not necessarily expect to play at this level. And she attributes that to not only Stafford Odom's personal resume. She's a great player at Cal. She's got a great coaching resume, UCLA, Duke, UNC, but her staffs as well. We mentioned earlier Jason Bouye came from Carolina as their strength and conditioning coach. They have former WNBA player in Orlana Larkins, who also played at Carolina on their squad. Larkins played 9 years in the WNBA and is a WNBA championship. It's that kind of pedigree that they really want to rely on when they're out there recruiting.
Changing the perception of this NC Central program that coming into last year had never had a winning season in league play. They wrapped up a 9-7 year in the MEAC, and good pressure, forcing that one out of bounds by Paris McBride, the freshman from Richmond, who played her AAU ball with Taya Bolden. So a bit of a reunion for those two, the Richmond products. And what we thought would be a defensive grinded out game has been a little bit offensive minded here in this first quarter.
I feel like Central is putting a lot of pressure on Campbell. Campbell's not really settling into the game that they like to play.
Brittany Staves launches a 3. That's off the rim. And McBride scoots the line and keeps it in. There's a wide open shooter in Nicole Hope. The lefty lets it fly and barely got rim that time. You could tell the discomfort as both these teams try to find their rhythm.
You can practice as fast as you want to, but it's really hard to mimic game speed and playing a different opponent. This is the first time that either squad has seen somebody else on the other side of the court.
Not only the lack of scrimmages, but 25 less practices than previous years. It has changed the warm-up, the tune-up, if you will, for the year. As Williams steps it back, she's been hot tonight, but her first miss of the evening.
Central will have a few more games under their belt before their conference play starts in January.
Taya Bolden, a long 2 and rattles in.
Campbell's going to be excited if that's something that continues from Bolden. Not typically an outside shooter, but if she can increase that strength and become a threat from outside, she's going to elicit some different type of defense.
In the conference last year, 5 double-doubles, so a proven scorer, but adding a piece to her game in her 5th and final season. Here's McBride running the point, the freshman guard with elusive skills. McBride almost turned it over. Now a tough look for Hope, and that's short. Bolden comes out with it. Now some numbers for Campbell. Up to Coleman, nope. Bolden tips it to herself, and in classic fashion, finishing it off.
Bolden is so impressive. She doesn't just get the rebounds, she grabs them. She is fighting for every single one of them. She's anticipating where they're going to come off the rim.
Already 7 points and 5 rebounds for Bolden in this first quarter. Nearly a double-double in the opening frame, 10 minutes in. McBride wants to hold for the final shot. Here's a slasher in Callahan, who's denied by Hampton. Second chance for Hope, and that's in. Nice way to end the quarter for NC Central. We have a 5-point difference through one quarter. When we come back, quarter number 2 here on ESPN+. Start of the second quarter here inside Buies Creek. An offensive-minded performance. Campbell up 5 alongside Aaron Summers, Evan Budrovich with you for the start of the basketball year. And this Campbell team led by its dominant post play. We mentioned Taya Bolden coming in already, 5 rebounds and 8 points. She's been a huge part of this offensive performance.
Earlier this week, Bolden was talking about getting that ring, the Big South Conference Championship that they won last season, and how she just enjoyed that feeling so much that she wanted to be able to feel it again, and that's what's fueled her to increase her level of play. It is definitely on display today.
NC Central switching up to a zone in the second frame as McNamara Clement facing a blitz of pressure, setting up Serrano for 3. The junior from Lisbon, Portugal, her first basket. And a sloppy turnover. Rivera wanted Madeline Anderson a bit off kilter.
Stafford Odom's not going to be happy with the turnover to start the quarter. Definitely something that I'm sure she addressed during that break.
Each team now with 5 turnovers today. Sarah Hammock in the post. Fitzgerald wanting the ball. Instead, it's Elmack off with the jumper. Let's see if Central can break this early scoring drought in the second frame. Rivera lets it fly, and that's way off. Serrano pokes Anderson loose. And now Lou wants to run. The all-conference guard has it stripped. Oh, here we go on the floor. Bodies everywhere, a little slip and slide, and Central comes up with it. No, they mop these floors after each quarter because of COVID procedures. It feels like a horse race out there. A lot of moving parts. Rivera using her size, missing the layup. A tip drill out to Thule, 2-on-1. Thule to herself.
That was a great fake. She faked the pass, and instead the defense, they went with it, and she has herself an open layup.
Largest lead for Campbell today at 10. McBride wanting to set up Rivera. She is wide open, and another air ball. Anderson saves it perfectly. We have a foul on Shai Thule.
If Rivera is going to continue to take those shots and continue to miss, Campbell will leave her open out there and focus more in the paint.
Rivera was the top three-point shooter for Central last year at 35%. And here she is off to a slow start, 0-2 from downtown. That's nearly an over and back, but no one touched it initially. Ronnie Fisher has to love the effort from his defense here today. Nicole Hope for the ECU transfer works her way inside, and her first points.
It's a good jumper by Hope just to pull up. She saw that no one was there in front of her. She had an open look at the basket.
Under Kid McNeil last year at ECU, she was the top bench scorer for the Pirates. Now forcing havoc with a ball on the floor. And McBride and Serrano, a timeout, NC Central, and a big one to save another turnover. We'll take the timeout as well. Early on in this second quarter, Campbell is up by 8 on ESPN+.
Hard work, a love for the game, is mandatory down here. Sacrifice, a desire to be great, lives down here.
Perez open three, yes!
Excellence, the will to compete, persists down here.
For the win!
This is the Big South, where winners are made.
I can't believe it. That child really was raised by wolves.
Which one's your mother?
Oh, that's her right there.
Oh my gosh. No. I can't believe how easy it was to save hundreds of dollars on my car insurance with Geico. It's really great.
Well, I'm just so glad to have met your beautiful family, and we better be sitting down now.
Believe it, Geico could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Bon boy.
Bon boy.
That's just too good. Brilliant
Discover the new language of travel. Marriott Bonvoy. 30 hotel brands, endless experiences, rewards, reimagined.
It's bow time.
Dad, we're hungry.
Yep, to the grill. No.
Out of gas on game day? Drop a big bow box on it. Game on. Feed a family of 4 with 8 pieces of scratch-made chicken, biscuits, fixins, and tea.
It's bow time.
As part of the virtual game day experience, visit GoCamels.com/Camel Cutout. Purchase one of your own. Aaron, I think we have to do ours with either a microphone in our hands or jumping for joy in the air. Like we just don't care. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, as long as we can sit over there in the dog section. I mean, there's, I think, about 4 or 5 I see over there, and they're very well behaved.
Hey, they're not making any noise tonight. As here's Kiana Brown checking in and nailing the jumper. That stops the 5-0 Campbell run. And now the press that Coach Tricia Stafford Odom prides her team on is starting to pay some dividends here. Because that alone takes 9 seconds off the shot clock.
Absolutely.
Elmack left open in the post, and a great feed by Bolden. With a foul on McNamara Clement. Fighting off with Kiana Brown, the junior out of Yanceyville, North Carolina. Just the second foul for Campbell in this game. It was Central that got into foul trouble in the first quarter.
Campbell's shown how disciplined that they can be. Definitely something that Coach Fisher harps on a lot. He wants to make sure that they're active. They put forth a lot of effort on the defensive end, but they need to have hand discipline. Make sure that they're not just fouling because they are making up for a sloppy play.
Speaking of sloppy, there's Rivera giving it away. Thule runs the point, sets up Carver, and the redshirt junior misses from 3. Campbell last season 4th in the country in scoring defense. That's nothing new for this team. They've done it each of the last 5 years, top 5 in defense.
Yeah, they only allowed 51.5 points per game last season. Absolutely incredible.
Taya Bolden running the point. Little out to in action as Serrano sets up Carver again. Thule, who's hit 2 threes today, zips it out to Serrano. Her triple is true.
The pass at the outside to Carver wasn't a great pass. She didn't handle it well. So instead of taking an ill-advised shot, she ended up passing it off, and it proves dividends for the Campbell
graduated
offense.
its best three-point shooter, and here they are with 4 triples in this first half. A reinvigorated offense today.
I'm curious, how many of these players went home and set up a basket and drew a three-point line outside in practice? Because that's one thing that always would stay the same.
As Keisha White gives it away. How about this Campbell offense led by its three-point shooting today?
But we talked about this pass here. She fumbles it a little bit on the outside corner, kicks it back to the top of the key, and they're able to get that three-pointer.
More impressively, 7 assists on 10 made baskets. That'll make a coach happy. Tatiana Carver with the ball right now. Her first start in 3 years. Gets it down low to Bolden, who traveled on the way up. And now the 6th turnover for Campbell today. The magic number for these teams, Aaron, probably around 13 to 14 turnovers, what they average on the year. Especially in this first game. That'll be something to keep an eye on if you're watching at home.
I'll point out, Evan, though, that's a non-COVID year. 13 turnovers. Might not hit those numbers today. We might be a little bit over that because they're just not as comfortable ball handling right now in the season.
Keep in mind, no private scrimmages, no inter-squad matchups. This is truly the first 5-on-5 these teams have played all year since March.
In a lot of these teams, they haven't had full practices with their complete roster.
There's Bolden
again. They've had
again.
a lot of people in and out.
Second chance, Bolden, no. And on a third shot, Campbell can't finish. Look at Lockhart running the point. Thule strips her, but a foul. And that's the 3rd team foul on Campbell. Gotta love what Ashlyn Lockhart's doing, running the floor as a 6'2" sophomore and setting up her offense. Asia Palmer, number 10 in the maroon, comes in for the first time, the sophomore from Milwaukee. And here's Michaela Coleman, who's recovering from that ACL injury. Only played in 8 games last year. We've already seen in this first half both teams go 9 players at least deep. Depth's going to be a huge question, even in this opening game.
It's something that you want to develop, though, especially with the way this season is going to go. You need to make sure that you have every player comfortable playing, getting some game time, some playing time early.
As Washington missed the open triple, Bolden, Campbell's top scorer, with 7 points, along with Serrano. She's got 8. Looking to keep a hot moving first half offensively. And that's an offensive foul on Serrano. Ashlyn Lockhart again in great position.
She was, and she was there, planted, and took the charge. Great play by her, heads up, knowing that Campbell was having a hard time getting the ball to a scorer. They couldn't get inside.
Lockhart started 21 games last year, a key piece with Rivera in the post. And that's the strength of this NC Central team, their size and physicality for Coach Tricia Stafford Odom. That's a walk, wisely called by Marie Christian, our umpire on that far side. Hard to cheat a traveling violation, especially on the first game. Refs are keeping an eye on those pretty early on.
It's funny, I worked with a game with one of the refs that's in this game right now this past weekend, and they were saying, hey, it's the first game for us too. We're trying to figure out the game. We're trying to keep up. We're trying to get conditioned to the speed of play.
Here's Faith Price, the sophomore, wasting no time. Boy, Bolden thought about it for a long time and instead gives it off. That's a sloppy pass by Price. Washington gets it right back. Washington spins, and Sherelle puts it home.
The great move by Sherelle Washington inside. She's going to be a huge player for them, a transfer from Daytona State. Last year there, she averaged 16 points per game.
Elmack is stripped by Sherelle Washington, and the effort of the junior out of Cape Coral, Florida, on full display.
Take a look back at this. There's Washington inside. The spin move goes up for the easy 2.
And what brings these programs together, Washington played for Janice Washington, a former captain and All-American for Campbell in 2000 on their last championship team. Of course, transferring to Central this year. These teams have played 3 times in the last 4 years. Campbell's won 2 of those meetings. But Central with the big bone to pick in a 3-point win last year in Durham. As Bolden wants contact, and that's a blocking foul. That's Washington trying to draw the charge.
Props to Washington for getting in there and trying to take Bolden. Bolden is a force inside. She's not going to back down.
That's her second foul, was Bolden right back to the free throw line. And with that miss, she's 3 of 5 today.
That's big. This is her 3rd trip to the line already. She's obviously added a lot of points offensively and then on the line, from the line as well.
Taya Bolden, the Richmond, Virginia product, goes 1 of 2. And now a couple of subs. As Callahan, the body, comes in for Central, and Campbell bring in Christabel Izuma, the freshman from Sugar Hill, Georgia, her first career minutes. So if you want to clear out the benches, this is the game to do it. Every player has checked in so far.
And trying to keep everybody fresh. At this point, they're not conditioned to a full game.
Serrano throws it ahead to Izuma, and her first basket is off. Free throws on the way.
You can just see the size that Izuma brings to this team. She's 6'3", forward. She's a freshman. Coach Fisher expects a lot from her with her size and her ability inside.
Izuma, one of the 3 freshmen coming to the Creek this fall. And at 6'2", she averaged a double-double in high school down at Lanier High School in Georgia. I, of course, was not as good as Christabel Izuma in high school. Only played 1 year of basketball. I know, Aaron, you were a multi-sport standout in your prep days.
Yeah, I might have been tall, but I really couldn't get off the ground as well as some of these women can. So I stuck to swimming and softball primarily. No jumping involved in those sports, not as much as basketball.
Here's the spark plug, Keisha White, directly to the hole. It's been a slow start for White, just 4 points, but as she gets going, this offense for Central can really kickstart.
White might feel a lot of pressure to do a lot too. She might want to kind of be the leader, production, a lot of production for
and there
her
was
team.
a slight that Keisha White felt is here's a foul on NC Central going the other way. White was not voted to the first team all-conference, and that was a huge talking point coming into the year.
Absolutely. She herself said that she was a little offended that she wasn't put on the first team.
NC Central's made 5 of his last 7 field goals. Campbell hasn't made a bucket in 3.5 minutes. Bolden on a deflection. Well, that's an awkward shot. Goes off the backboard, and a foul on Azuma, reaching over Faith Williams. That's her first. And now this 4-minute scoring drought has allowed Central to creep back into the game.
And Campbell had all the time they needed to really set up a play there as well, with Central staying back, being set in the defense, and Campbell couldn't come away with points.
So with that 5th foul, it's a free throw situation here for Central to close out the frame. Just the 3rd free throw attempt for NC Central tonight. This is Faith Williams, the freshman of Akron, Ohio. From the same high school as LeBron James, St. Vincent St. Mary's, in the greater Akron area. Central was not a great free throw team last year, just 66%. Gets 1 of 2 that time. Although no better drill in isolation or in quarantine than shooting free throws all by yourself, 12 feet away.
As long as you have a basket, definitely something you can work on.
Carver breaks the press out to Bolden. And now Coleman pushes, can't finish. Azuma off the board. A lot of contact is Christabel Azuma, her first basket from the field. There's a long 3 from McBride. That's way off. How about the pace of this game? Moving quickly. Azuma drawing a triple team. And we got a holding foul on Ashwin Locker, the sophomore. But again, the size of Azuma causing trouble.
I really like what I've seen from Azuma so far. She's definitely established herself as a threat inside, and she's drawing some aggressive defense from Central.
Here's Brittany Staves, the sophomore, checking in. She's out of Raleigh from Leesville Road High School. Campbell just broke a 4-minute scoring drought with their freshman forward, Azuma. Now milking an 8-point lead late in this first half. Staves works it in, and Rivera nearly poked it loose. Shot clock at 8. Staves, baseline. Tough look, no. Bolden on the tip drill, and that's a shot clock violation. That look from Anissa Rivera tells the story right there.
Way to fight for the Eagles, though. I'm sure Stafford Odom is happy about that last possession from Campbell with the shot clock violation.
And we had a kickball violation on Carver. That'll reset the shot clock to 20. So Central in this game, they like to work the ball in the post. Rivera has 6 points. White has 6 points. But they haven't been able to hit the outside shot, just 1 of 8. As that'll stay with Central here. How did he get to the 3-point shooting going?
Well, Stafford Odom said that that wasn't necessarily their game, that they don't need to rely on that 3-point. If it's there, great. They need to make sure that they get inside. They're getting opportunities. They have more shots than Campbell does at this point in the game. They just haven't made as many of them.
It's the name of the game, putting the ball in the bucket. And if you're Central, club that had won 7 of 8 to close out last year, maybe the hottest team in the MEAC, they were on their way to a semifinal matchup with Bethune-Cookman, as that's a free throw up and in for Keisha White. All of a sudden, tournament gets called off. You're heading home. Campbell was set to host the Big South tournament in the quarterfinals. And a long-awaited return, 258 days. Both these teams are excited to be back, with Rivera being poked loose by Carver. Final minute of this first half. Campbell is led by as many as 11. Inching closer in the closing minute. Staves against McBride, and a blocking foul on the freshman out of Richmond. That'll send Staves to the free throw line.
It's not what any coach wants to see near the end of a shot clock, end of a quarter, when you're giving up free points at the line.
There's Faith Price, who is going to be onus to fill that void of the two guards lost in Haley Barber and Kiana Spate. This is a team interesting depth in the front court, but very young in the back court.
Coach Fisher singled out Staves and Price as two players that needed to step up this season. Very talented, might not have gotten as much playing time as they wanted in their freshman season. They will get that playing time today, or this season, not only today, and he wants to see them kind of step up to that.
They've certainly got minutes today. 11 players have checked in for Campbell, 12 for NC Central. Here's Paris McBride with a contested J, and that rolls out. Campbell can hold for the final shot. Azuma clearing out space, but can't hold on to the pass. And then almost turning it over is Khadijah Demery. Demery off the pick, rolls into a trap, and is blocked by Azuma. 2 seconds left, and that's going to hold some time on the clock. It's like battling for a bar of soap down there in the post. Central will have the last look at it. Last chance for Demery, and that's no good. End of the first half here inside Gore Arena. Campbell up by 8. When we come back, the halftime report on ESPN+.
Hard work. Celebrate a Big South title
And a nice chance to cut the net, celebrate with the championship rings, and really culminate a March that came up short of their expectations, not able to finish the conference tournament.
Coach Fisher said while they were extremely excited to win the Big South title, they really felt robbed of that NCAA tournament chance and the ability to make an appearance in a tournament that ended up getting canceled. They really enjoyed celebrating that finally. It's been a long wait for the Camels, and they were able to get together and celebrate after everybody got back on campus. You know, last season everything just kind of ended, and Ronnie didn't get to really celebrate with his team.
You see that run from a WBI trip to the semifinals to a regular season title, and then of course to a conference title. So a lot of growth over the last 2 years. When we come back, more from Gore Arena here on ESPN+. Here's some first half highlights from Bowie's Creek. It started with a three-point shooting, 4 triples for Campbell in that first half.
See Michaela Coleman get into the basket there. Good to see her back in action. The one shot the Eagles made from the outside right there from Williams. And then Taya Bolden, she has been a huge offensive threat for the Camels in the first half, getting in the action from outside.
It's funny, you see the reaction of a block, and then Nicole Hope's like, I'll finish that off for NC Central that time. And for Campbell, balanced scoring, including Saranya with a 3 there. A game has started to pick up some offense late in that first half as well.
Absolutely. There's a nice kick here to Saranya on the outside. Campbell really working it around, finding ways to be offensive threats.
Maybe the prettiest finish of the night, Sherelle Washington with the reversal. And then Keisha White keeping Central in this game here in the first half. Your score at the break, Campbell 33, NC Central 25. More from the second half after this on The Plus. Welcome back inside the broadcast booth. Here with Aaron Summers, I'm Evan Budrovich. We mentioned 4 key players coming in. Well, Taya Bolden and Luana Serrano have each scored 8 points for Campbell. How have they helped their squads in this first half?
They're creating offensive opportunities inside and out. Tuli's had a lot of shots from outside as well. She's 8 points so far for the Camels. They have 3 players with 8 points. Great offensive balance.
Keisha White, the senior guard, a little bit of a slow start, but she's up to 7 points. And Anissa Rivera, a couple of blocks against her, but she's got 6 in the post. We're starting to see Central play more physically. How do they get back into this game?
That physicality got them early, though. They have 2 players with 3 fouls, 2 of their starters. So we'll see if they're able to regain some of their offensive threat and presence as this game goes on.
As you guys can tell, we got the mask going on. We're trying to work on socially distancing, but Aaron, more importantly, we want to thank some folks giving out COVID tests on a weekly basis here on the campus. There's the nursing staff at Campbell, because there's so much that goes into these games, including weekly tests. You have to do temperature checks when you go into a building. All that adds up to finally playing basketball for the first time in 258 darn days. Welcome back inside Gore Arena. A huge part of getting a game ready to go is obviously socially distancing the players, but also the fans in attendance. And Aaron, it's worth mentioning the policies that take place to make this game happen. What was the level of gratitude? Because that was a huge part of what Ronnie Fisher was telling us about. These teams just grateful to be back on the floor.
It's been a lot on the players and the coaches to make sure that they maintain distance. They're safe outside of playing time. When they leave practice, make sure that Fisher said that he even has to watch what his kid does because he doesn't want his son to go out and catch COVID and come back and put the team in a vulnerable position.
How as a player do you handle that stress, though? Because obviously you want to play well, but it's also the avoid contact, avoid being in large groups, and all that adds on to the student-athlete experience to make it even harder to play a game of basketball.
I think with a team like Campbell, they care so much about each other, and they don't want to be the person that costs their team anything at any point in this season. They're just so thankful to be back, to be able to play and have these opportunities. They're not going to do anything to risk it.
Campbell up 8 here in the first half. When we come back, we'll get you all set for the start of the second half, and it's coming up right after this on ESPN+.
Hard work, a love for the game, is mandatory down here. Sacrifice, a desire to be great, lives down here.
Perez open three, yes!
Excellence, the will to compete, persists down here.
For the win!
This is the Big South, where winners are made.
Both teams returning to the floor as we get set for half number 2. This is an NC Central club that joined the MEAC or rejoined the MEAC 10 years ago. They're coming off their first winning season in league play. And this year in the league, Aaron, Bethune-Cookman, one of the favorites in the MEAC, not able to play due to COVID policies, kind of reinvigorating the Central team along with A&T, two of the best teams in that league.
Coach Stafford Odom said that Bethune-Cookman is one of those teams that makes you want to be better. They have pushed everybody in this conference to elevate their game. Central picked 3rd in the Southern Division preseason. Without Bethune-Cookman, they're at the top. They could really gain a lot of ground.
Quick start for Serrano here in half number 2. First player in double figures for either team today. Coming into this game, Anissa Rivera, a key piece offensively. She feeds it off to Nicole Hope, who maybe has the longest eyelashes I've ever seen in a college basketball player. But more importantly, a big-time scorer as an ECU transfer last year.
She was the 2nd highest point producer coming off the bench for the Pirates last season. With more opportunity here, interesting to see how she's able to elevate her game.
I'm still distracted by those eyelashes. They are popping at least 3 to 4 inches away. It's all about perception, you know.
I would definitely be flicking those off. They would be flying.
Here's Keisha White, an excellent scorer, and scoops it in.
It's a great finish by White inside. That's what Tricia Stafford Odom wants from her players. She wants them to drive to the basket.
Keisha White, a 15-point-a-game scorer last year, needs to pick up the slack for a slow first half. Totally left open and can't convert. What an offensive board by Serrano.
I don't know how much you paid attention in physics in high school, but you know they taught you the equal opposite angle thing there. So that's exactly where that ball went, and Tully was there for the rebound.
Rivera's got that board, kind of one-hands it. This game's been a battle on the boards. Campbell +5. Both teams with some turnover woes, each with 12. It's really come down to 3-point shooting as the difference. Campbell +9 in that department. Here's Lockard, and that's a foul. Ashwin Lockard goes to the free throw line, the sophomore from California. Lockard coming out of high school, highly recruited, 47th ranked recruit in the 2018 class as a 3-star. Part of that talent development that Coach Stafford Odom has brought here to Central.
It's a good opportunity for Lockard to try to steal some points with the clock stopped. They are down, be able to close the gap a little bit if she can get this one in.
2 for 2 from the line. It's back to a 6-point game. Closest it's been since the early stages of the second quarter. We talked about it coming in. Where's the energy going to come from both teams with no fans in attendance? Central getting involved to our left. Carver slicing through and trying to find a bailout. Gives it to Keisha White.
Great defense.
Here comes White. So dangerous. No good that time. A little bit of a forced shot there from the senior. But I think a shot that Coach Stafford Odom would love to see from her veteran point guard. Hampton going to work and gets a foul. That's on Rivera, her 3rd.
It's impressive for Hampton not to back down there. She still aggressively attacked the basket, even with 2 defenders on her, able to draw the foul and go to the line for some free points.
Ashland Hampton coming off her best season scoring the ball, 56% from the field. And getting easy baskets here. She can't get the free throw.
She played about 14 minutes a game when she was in the game last season on average. Got a lot of good experience.
1 for 2 from the line as Campbell has now doubled Central's free throw attempts today. That was the exact opposite when these teams met in Durham last year, a 3-point North Carolina Central win. Here's Keisha White, the all-conference point guard in the MEAC. Trying to break down Serrano. Campbell's all-conference guard. Strength versus strength as Hampton hits the deck, and Rivera can't make her pay. Well, that is off NC Central. Last touch by Callahan.
Rivera really needs to find that outside shot in order to increase her threat as an offensive player. Definitely can take it inside, but it's something that she wants to add to her game.
And she averages 13 and 9 a game. It's not like she can't shoot. As Serrano gives it away to Rivera. Nice go ahead. Right back to her, and no good. Tip throw to White. Keisha is blocked by Hampton, and he'll stay here with NC Central.
The great effort on the glass by the Eagles. You know, it starts down here with a steal. Rivera is able to pass it off, and then they keep it on their end with the attack in the glass.
Rivera playing like a guard today as she misses the jumper. And we've seen her take those extended shots from deep. She's 3 of 9 today as Carver. Very uncharacteristic pass, gives it right back.
A probability at some point those balls are going to start falling for Rivera. She is, like you said, she is a good offensive player. She does usually score 13 points per game, and they think that that will increase this season.
Last year as a freshman, 5 weeks, she was the MEAC Rookie of the Week. That was the most for any player in the league's history.
She probably would have been the Freshman Player of the Year had she competed in all of the games. She didn't meet the game played qualifications that you needed.
21, and that's not enough to earn the awards, but an award in our books. Another miss for Central from downtown. Here's a good pass ahead. Elmack trying to stay in bounds, and turnover again, turnover again. If you're keeping track at home, that's a lot of turnovers. Here's Serrano connecting. And a timeout, NC Central. A sloppy turnover sets up a Lou 3, and we'll take a timeout. Midway through the third, Campbell up 10.
Hard work, a love for the game, is mandatory down here. Sacrifice, a desire to be great, lives down here.
Perez open 3, yes!
Excellence, the will to compete, persists down here.
For the win!
This is the Big South, where winners are made.
I can't believe it. That child really was raised by wolves.
Which one's your mother?
Oh, that's her right there.
Oh, gosh. No. I can't believe how easy it was to save hundreds of dollars on my car insurance with Geico. It's really great.
Well, I'm just so glad to have met your beautiful family, and we better be sitting down now.
Believe it, Geico could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Bon boy.
Bon boy.
Discover the new language of travel. Marriott Bonvoy. 30 hotel brands, endless experiences, rewards, reimagined.
Musco Lighting. We make it happen.
NC Central down 10 midway through this third quarter. They've had struggles shooting the ball today, Aaron. Just 1 of 10 from long range. And you see Anissa Rivera there at 6 points a game. She's got to find a secondary option for Central to get back in this one.
She needs to drive inside to the basket. That's their bread and butter right now. She needs to stop pulling up from outside, getting inside where she has a higher percentage shot. The communication off here a little bit since everyone's distance. They didn't get the message that it's time to go.
You know, with 258 days, you'd hope there'd be a little more pep in the step, but Ronnie Fisher got the message and his team is back following that media timeout. Here's Paris McBride, who this coaching staff for Central is very high on, the freshman of Richmond. Good slip into the paint, but Callahan couldn't find it. And that's turnover number 13 for the Eagles.
That turnover is on the passer, too. They need to make sure that they're placing the ball where the person in the post can receive it and be able to get a good shot off.
Speaking of post play, Ashlyn Lockard is on the bench with 4 fouls for Central. And that is not a continuation, but a foul there on Faith Williams.
Lockard, she had 3 in the first half, gets another one quickly in the second.
Didn't see much contact there, but a foul on Williams, her 3rd. You see Ronnie Fisher taking off that mask, trying to direct the show over on his bench. Breaking down the zone with Bolden. Carver left open, and she misses. Azuma tips it to herself on the floor. Oh, maybe a timeout, maybe a travel. Nope, timeout call. Tricia Stafford Odom, we can hear that voice from a mile away. Timeout Eagles, and we'll take the timeout as well. Midway through the third, Eagles trying to claw their way back. They're down 10 here on ESPN+. There's Ronnie Fisher, the reigning Big South Coach of the Year. He calls it a staff award. The third time he's won the award in the last decade. And this Campbell team, while not as top heavy with seniors as last year, could be just as good as last year's 21-win team.
He spoke so highly of his staff earlier this week when we talked to him. They have that staff continuity. They definitely enjoy working together. He says it's something that trickles down to the players. They can feel that.
As Taya Bolden turns it over. Neither team has scored in the last 2 minutes, midway through the third. And Bolden, who's been part of this team for all 5 of Ronnie Fisher's years, now starting to fill those expectations. They were picked first in the preseason. Something that they invited. You hadn't seen that a lot in the past from a Campbell team, and now they're all in on being that top dog.
It was funny when she was talking at Big South Media Day, Bolden said that it's about focusing on having the best attitude, being the best teammate, and giving your best effort every day. That's what leads to success. And Fisher quickly jumped in and said, hey, that's a coach talking right there. You know, Bolden, you have any interest?
I thought I did a great job asking that question at Media Day, trying to get an honest response. And we got the coach speak with Bolden banking it home.
Oh, is that a humble brag, Evan? Was that you that asked that question?
I guess it was. So Bolden out to 8 points. Serrano leads the show with 13. And Central struggling to score. They haven't put a ball in the basket in 4 minutes. Here's Rivera settling, missing again. Callahan wanted the rebound, and it's off of Callahan. Now, if you're Rivera, this is risky, right? Because she's 3 of 11, and Campbell's letting her shoot those long jumpers.
She's continuing to take them. That's why they're giving her that option, because she's pulling up and she's missing, but she's determined. She's determined to get one in, Evan.
Now, Rivera last year, 41%, pretty accurate shooter, and the top 3-point threat for the Eagles.
The Eagles' offensive production will start on the defensive end. They need to get a stop. They need to get back in transition, play that tempo game that they like.
Staves an open triple. That's her first.
And that's not going to help. Those outside shots, they're coming easier for the Camels. Definitely with 50% from outside right now in the second half.
This is a Campbell team that made 11 threes a game last year. And they make their 6th as Rivera gets hot from the field. And this Rivera was a monster when these teams met in Durham. 9 points, 9 rebounds, 3 blocks. Central was down 9, kind of a similar spot in the fourth quarter, and they came back to win. And that 3-point difference.
You can hear the Eagles bench right now clapping, chanting defense.
Boy, Azuma climbs up for that rebound. Setting up an open Serrano, who misses. And Azuma able to save it. Throws it off of Callahan. And we have a foul here on Campbell. That's on Taya Bolden.
Azuma again showing a lot of fight inside, a lot of toughness, going for that rebound. Created another opportunity.
Christabel Azuma, one of the 3 freshmen for Ronnie Fisher's squad. Speaking of freshmen, there's Paris McBride, the Richmond product. And almost like a freight train, just trading out pieces for each other.
You see Azuma fighting underneath, attempting to give her team another opportunity on the offensive side.
This is Morgan Callahan in the post, going to her left. And McNamara Clement got a piece, but a foul on Hampton. Trying to box out the size of Rivera, who's been tough to guard today.
Rivera has a lot of length, and she's definitely tough.
How about Tricia Stafford Odom sitting there in that front seat directing the show for her offense? They've hit just 18% of their shots in this second half. They're leaning on Rivera, who pulls a James Harden step back, no good. And a foul on Campbell trying to box out Callahan. This is what Central wants to do, living on the boards, and they're causing trouble in this third quarter.
Right, you watch the miss there, and then it is Callahan inside. Fight for the rebound, forces the foul.
Morgan Callahan, the freshman from Beach Park, Illinois, who's going to be studying pharmaceutical sciences at Central, hits her first free throw. You don't want to put lofty expectations on a freshman, but Coach Tricia Stafford Odom said she needs to be the next Paulina Afriye, who was an all-conference forward last year, leading this team.
Coach called her a very versatile player. She said she's humble too. She can quietly get a double-double.
As Washington heats up from 3. And here comes Central, their second made triple. They're back within 9. Momentum of this game shifting late in the third. And a sloppy pass results in a turnover for McBride. Throwing it ahead to Washington. And Coleman able to save the day late defensively.
And that's the right idea for the Eagles, though. Said it earlier, it starts on the defensive end, getting that turnover and then pushing the ball down the court.
Michaela Coleman, who missed most of last year with that ACL injury. You see her effort on defense that time. Her presence will most be felt on day 1. Rivera got hacked and gets it home. Timeout, NC Central. What has changed on this 8-0 run for the Eagles, Aaron?
Starts on the defensive end. They're getting stops. They're pushing the pace. And Rivera, she's come alive a little bit. She's found her offensive touch. And the Eagles, they're trusting her. If you are our leader, you're going to have to carry us at times. They're continuing to feed the ball to her.
A lead that was up to 12 is now back down to 7. Eagles trying to claw their way back late in this third quarter.
Looking over at the huddle, you can see Coach Stafford Odom. She moments ago had her hands up, outstretched over, reminding her players to be active on the defensive end. That's what's working for them right now.
Contrast in styles as Ronnie Fisher keeps his socially distant bench all together. And these are the lulls that when you lose 2 seniors in Kiana Spate and Haley Barber, he expected to happen. Now it's a challenge for his team with 2 minutes left in this third quarter.
Who's going to step up and help the team fight through these lulls? Make a good play, make a hustle play, an effort play, something that sparks the team, gets them back into their rhythm.
Worth noting, NC Central burned its final timeout of this game as well. They have none left and a lot of basketball to play.
And maybe that was her game plan. Stafford Odom wanting to take the moments as teaching moments when they came up throughout the game.
Trail by 15 in this third quarter. They've clawed back as Bolden contested and a foul called from behind. Taya Bolden back to the free throw line where she's 4 of 6 today. So it looks like, Aaron, step 1 when you get in trouble is feed it into the post to a senior and let Bolden go to work.
Absolutely. It's what's been working for the entire first half of the game. So let's give the ball back to her, let her fight inside, whether she gets the layup or draws a foul and is able to go to the line for some points. You can see her working inside against 3 defenders.
Yeah, McBride there with the hack from behind. Bolden just broke a 2.5-minute scoring drought for Campbell. Senior takes her time and goes 2 for 2. Neither of these teams going to break records in free throw shooting last year, both in the low 60%. As Bolden strips it away, Rivera able to save it, and what a forward pass to Washington up and under.
Ooh, Stafford Odom called her dynamic, and Washington definitely was with that up and under.
Exhibit A for the junior college transfer out of Daytona State. Now can Campbell respond? The lead shrunk to 7, led by as many as 15 in the quarter. Faith Price wants a draw at it, and no, on the floor. But the sophomore from Virginia, Price, being aggressive.
Washington immediately grabbing her mouth, her nose after that battle for the ball.
And Sherelle Washington does play with a mask on, so I could imagine as the pace picks up, gasping for air. Price triggers it into Thule. And like we talked about, Aaron, this is where Central can make life tough for Campbell. Who's going to score here at these critical moments? Nearly a steal for Callahan. Hampton lets it fly. And that's a shot Central will live with. Jump ball gives the possession to NC Central.
Central's playing some aggressive defense right now. They're challenging the ball handler. They're trying to deny the pass, contesting shots. Lots of active hands. We almost saw that steal turnover. But with the jump ball possession in their favor, you get the ball anyways.
They made their last 3 shots. Nicole Hope and crew have climbed back into this game. And this is without Keisha White really getting going. She's got 9 points, but it's taken 9 shots to do it. White gets past Coleman and count the foul. Central now going to go to the free throw line.
White does get around, but not without the reach from Coleman inside. She's quick, she's a threat at the rim, so Coleman stuck her arm out there, got her with the shoulder.
We talked with Pierre Miller, the lead assistant for the Campbell staff, and he said step number 1, slow down Keisha White. When she goes, we've seen in this third quarter, Central has clawed back into this game. A lead that was as big as 15, remains 6. And Campbell gives it right away. Callahan's fouled. Boy, the pressure of Morgan Callahan making a huge play on Bolden.
Coach Fisher not going to be happy about that at all.
Taya Bolden just picked up her 2nd foul.
You allow the offensive rebound off the missed free throw, which turns into a foul on one of your best players with the scrum under the basket.
That's her 3rd officially. So now Morgan Callahan back to the line. Boy, Central's going to look at this box score and wonder what could have been. 5 missed free throws today. And the turnovers, Campbell now has 20, so they've done their job forcing those mistakes.
Central has taken 46 shots. It's incredible that they've trailed for the majority of this game.
Campbell's lived from the 3-point line with 6 triples. Now their best 3-point shooter, Thule, hands it off to Serrano with 1 shot to go in this quarter. And that's on Bolden, an offensive foul into McBride. 4th foul on Bolden.
It's the loudest it's been in this gym. The Central bench went crazy after that stop.
That's the energy that NC Central wants to play with as Rivera comes back in. And now the Eagles can cut this to a 1-possession game, which seemed impossible when it was a 15-point difference just 3 minutes ago. Harris McBride off the pick, gets to the hole, lofts one up short, and that ends quarter number 3. The Eagles storming back on an impressive run, shutting out Campbell for the final 3 minutes, and they're back within 5. We'll head to the 4th. Can the Eagles keep the comeback flowing, or will Campbell stop them in the final frame? We'll find out next on ESPN+. NC Central has come storming back here on a 12-2 run to close out the third quarter. And a club that picked up its first ever win over Campbell just last year, playing with momentum early in this fourth.
Production in the third quarter started with their defense. 6 steals, forced 9 turnovers for Campbell. They scored 7 points.
And on the back door, Thule starts the fourth with a bang. So if you're Ronnie Fisher, you lose 2 seniors who were excellent ball handlers in Barber and Spate. This is the type of game I think he wants to figure out who's going to fill those roles down the stretch, as there's a foul on Ashland Hampton.
Before this game, Fisher talked about he felt confident with his post players, his leader inside in Bolden. He needed to see somebody from the perimeter step up. Who is it going to be? Is it Shai Thule? Is it Luana Serrano that's going to carry them down the stretch?
Rivera heating up in the fourth. And Anissa Rivera now in double figures with 12. Rivera and White, the top 2 scorers coming in for Central, now have 22. And they've been the spark plug on offense for Tricia Stafford Odom. Here's Elmack at the post. Fighting for space. Step through move, and nope. Rebound Rivera. That's one she'd love to have back.
It was a good move, just didn't finish.
And yet Campbell shooting 42%. It's not as if they've missed everything. Rivera, pop, block, and drop it. Here comes Central.
During the last break, Rivera was dancing. I think she's loosened up a little bit, feeling it, found her offensive touch.
And Williams with the steal. Campbell now 22 turnovers in this game. Central a chance to tie it. White looking at the scoreboard. Wants contact. Nope, her own rebound. Block for McNamara Clement. Foul here on Morgan Callahan, and with that block, Laura McNamara Clement now 6th all-time in Campbell history in career blocks. Didn't have to do much to swat away that one.
She had 15 blocks last season. Blocks are not high percentage opportunities. Usually they end in a foul. It's amazing that she's been able to connect and swat the ball that many times.
Carver's tripped up by Faith Williams in the foul count, picking up early in this fourth quarter. Remember, Central got in the bonus with 6 minutes left in the third and clawed their way back. 5 is that magic number for fouls in a quarter, which I'm all a fan for, by the way. I think the men should move to the quarter system here soon. College basketball is back for the first time in 258 long days. It's the opener for both these teams, who ended last year with wins and momentum in their conferences in the MEAC and Big South. Shot clock to 1. Serrano gets it off and puts it home.
That's tough for any team. They put forth such a good defensive effort, and it ends with a dagger from the outside. Serrano getting another 3-pointer to fall.
Serrano leads everybody with 16 points today and putting pressure on Keisha White, the point guard. Rivera's pass tipped out. McBride gets space, and McBride, the freshman, her first points.
It's a really heads-up play by Rivera. Knowing she wasn't going to be able to secure the pass, she tips it to an open player on the outside.
Thule one-on-one. Little fadeaway, no good. Elmack tips it to Thule. That time she finishes.
Always have to assume that every shot is going to be missed. Follow it up. Second chance opportunity.
6 second chance points for Campbell today. That makes it a 6-point game. You hear Coach Stafford Odom directing traffic over there in an empty arena here in Buies Creek. The Eagles trail by 15 in this third quarter, then clawed back to 6. Keisha White to the hole, and a Keisha White, 12 points.
The adjustments that the Eagles have made from half 1 to half 2 really must have been a good halftime talk from Stafford Odom.
Well, they came out on the court with 5 seconds left. They took their time in the locker room. As Laura McNamara Clement kind of forces one up. And Elmack a tough day offensively, 1 of 6 from the field. Rivera, a deep three, and that's nothing but the air in this open arena.
A heat check? Is that a heat check on Rivera there?
Not the way you shoot that shot, unfortunately for Rivera, who's the top scorer at 14 points for NC Central. Of course, what's tricky about this floor is the men's line is shaded in, the women's line's underneath it, so maybe a little mishap in judgment. Saranya, meanwhile, for Campbell's been cooking with 15. She was the top scorer for the Fighting Camels last year, just 9 points a game. Leaving Tooley open, that's a miss. And Callahan's got it. Campbell started so hot from three. They're now 2 of 7 in the second half, and that's allowed Central to creep in. Hope wanted a bailout option. She gets Rivera, who blows by Bolden. Rivera to the left, and oh, just out. Offensive rebound, should have been a travel, and a basket for Central. Morgan Callahan cleaning it up, and a nice finish, cuts it at 2.
Way to be there by Callahan. Rivera fighting to get to the basket. Callahan getting the rebound, and then the second chance opportunity.
That's 14 second chance points for the Eagles. Their bread and butter today. Serrano doubled. Risky pass to Hampton and a foul on Callahan.
The Eagles are collapsing immediately on the ball handler. They're not allowing Campbell to create any space for those open looks that they were getting earlier in the game.
So Anissa Rivera, who was slow to get up after that last layup, goes to the bench.
She does look like she's limping on her way back to the bench.
Callahan will join her for the quick timeout. Remember, that first whistle under 5 minutes is immediate timeout. So a chance here to get quick rest for Rivera. Who's going to hit a shot against the zone defense of Central? And Hampton is fouled by Keisha White. There's your three, but it doesn't count. And we have a timeout on the court as Campbell putting pressure on Central. Tight ball game, 2-point difference here in the fourth. Welcome back inside Gore Arena. The NC Central Eagles climbing back into this game thanks to Anissa Rivera and a fast-paced offense here in the fourth.
After shooting 32% in the first half, the Eagles are shooting 56% to start the fourth quarter.
Big reason why a 15-point deficit has turned to just one. During the timeout, a Serrano 3 was turned back to a 2-point basket. So here's your updated score with 4:51 to play.
Well, the Eagles have been aggressive on the defensive end. They do have 3 players with 4 fouls, something that they need to watch with this game being so tight down the stretch.
All 3 of those players on the bench right now for Central. As Serrano slices in and is fouled. That's a big one on Kiana Brown, her first. And now Campbell's in the bonus. So here's Luana Serrano to the free throw line where she's got 15 points. But this is just her first free throw attempt of the night. Still a 1-point difference with the miss.
Take a look at this foul. It just swatted out of Serrano's hand. I didn't see much contact. Obviously, the ref did.
A lot of judgment call there as a second miss. Jump ball and possession to the Eagles. So all of a sudden, this scoring drought's gone to 2.5 minutes for Campbell with the missed free throws. It's been fascinating too, Aaron. NC Central called their final timeout midway through the third. They have dominated this game ever since.
They nailed down their game plan. They've stuck to it. They've played aggressive defense. It's led to offensive opportunities.
And Rivera draws the foul on Coleman. Just the second team foul for the Fighting Camels. So we've seen Ronnie Fisher mix different bodies on Rivera. How has she been able to cause so many mismatches in this game?
She's a tall, lengthy player, and she's quick. She's a threat from any point on the floor. Finally saw her get hot from outside. She's quick to the basket as well.
And Keisha White drawing contact. The shooting of Rivera and the speed of White. That's on Michaela Coleman. So third foul on Coleman. And now White, who was off to a slow start, looks to build on her 12 points today and tie this game.
Big for the Eagles to capitalize on these opportunities at the line.
This is the first time we've seen Campbell kind of shaken today offensively, looking for a rhythm.
That's when that senior leadership that Barber and Kiana Spate brought last year
Hope
really
the
comes into
offensive
play.
rebound, Rivera the miss. And this game stays tied. That's Keisha White reaching in, and a game of whistles here in the fourth sends Campbell to the free throw line.
See, White wasn't set there. Gets the charge call.
So Shai Tooley, who has 12 points in this one, gives Campbell a lead. They have held the lead since the first 3 minutes of this first quarter. And now down the stretch, critical free throws from the junior from Tennessee. They always ask a free throw shooter, what's the most nerve-wracking shot? They say it's the first one, not the second. And Tooley able to step in that moment. Here's Williams, nearly giving it away. And Coleman takes it from Rivera. Campbell looking to run. Staves bounces it off the foot of McBride, and it's Campbell ball. Even in that moment, Aaron, you're holding your breath every time these teams run down the floor.
The ball is flying around. Active hands. Everybody is definitely a threat for a steal, a turnover.
That's going to give Ronnie Fisher nightmares when he checks the box score. 22 turnovers today for Campbell.
He said that he was going to have to be a little easier on them this first game out. He's going to have to remind himself that they haven't had the practice leading up to the season like they usually would.
Nearly stolen away by Williams. Sherrell's playing with 4 fouls, but hustling hard on the floor for NC Central. Faith Price checks in, number 1 in the white. Giving Coleman a breather here down the stretch. Tooley works against the pick. Someone's got to shoot it here if you're Campbell. Good defense by the Eagles.
We're getting late in the shot clock.
Oh, Keisha White, highway robbery. White ahead of the pack. And in with the right hand.
White just did it all on that play with the steal. She pushes it down the court. She finishes at the rim. That's textbook Eagles basketball.
She's up to 15, and this game is tied at 3 minutes to go. Bolden wants her number in the post. And we have a foul down low on Callahan, which if that remains, it's her 5th. She has fouled out Morgan Callahan. Done with 2:53 to play.
Callahan finishes with 4 points, although her presence inside definitely felt. She's been a big body, a big force for the Eagles inside.
Meanwhile, for Campbell, they have lived on the free throw line today. They haven't made a field goal in 4 minutes. And it looks like down the stretch here, Aaron, if they're going to win this game, they have to win it with players like Taya Bolden at the stripe.
That's why it's so important to make your free throws.
Today, Campbell's 12 of 20, just 60%. Last year, they were at 66, so need to work on it down the stretch here as Bolden to the line, where she's 6 of 8. Of course, in a quiet, empty arena, the only heckling is the opposite team. I think that's a nice added dimension here in the closing minutes.
And Bolden's not somebody that NC Central wants to go to the line with her success today.
Her 10th attempt on the way. She's 8 of 10. So Central has been able to tie it twice, but have not had the lead since the first 3 minutes of this game. Here's McBride off the pick. Staves shields her off. Now one-on-one. Luana Serrano and Keisha White, the all-conference guards. Coleman has a tough task on Rivera in the post and is called for the reach-in. Just the 3rd team foul for Campbell.
Just 7 seconds left on the shot clock. The Eagles are going to have to be quick with getting the ball in and getting a good look.
Clock does reset to 20 here as Staves, nearly a foul. Good no look. Back to McBride. In the middle of the paint. She can't finish. And Staves somehow comes out with it. Taya Bolden's been running the show in the post. Denied by Rivera, and it's Campbell basketball.
I like the idea of going inside to Bolden. She's been good about drawing the fouls inside. Didn't get one there. Rivera was there with the block.
Yeah, she's got 10 free throws today, a big part of her 14 points. Serrano, the junior, off the pick. A lot of upperclassmen on the floor for Campbell. 4 of the 5. Staves, the lone sophomore, misses. And Rivera's got the board, but gives it away. A pass you cannot have if you're NC Central right now. Two minutes to play. You cannot afford a turnover like that.
Every possession is so important right now, and it doesn't count if you don't get a shot off.
These teams have combined for 39 turnovers. Not the gift of Thanksgiving that keeps on giving this week. First day of the basketball season. McBride called for the foul. Trying to poke loose Tooley, and Shy goes to the free throw line. Remember, Campbell still hasn't made a bucket from the field in 5 minutes. They're going to have to win it right here at the stripe.
Central's not allowing them good looks, good scoring opportunities in the open court. But I think that the Camels are doing a good job drawing the fouls off the aggressive play of the Eagles. If you take a look here as Tooley trying to go inside, meets the contact, easy foul.
Tooley 1 of 2. It's a 3-point difference. Remember, NC Central just 2 of 12 today from long range. Their sharpshooter is Sherelle Washington. She's in the corner as Rivera goes to work in the post, can't finish. And last touched by Campbell. Boy, Rivera's got the size on Coleman, just not able to finish today.
No, and she's definitely had her moments where she's shown that she can complete the entire play. She can drive to the basket, she can finish at the rim, just not at that moment.
This game was a 3-point difference in Durham last year with NC Central earning the win. A similar story tonight. Whoa, weird pass from McBride, but it goes to Keisha White, who can't finish. Wow, critical chance for Keisha.
A heads-up play by White to follow the ball in the action.
Campbell has not made a basket in 5.5 minutes. And a kick ball on Keisha White that time.
Are we going to see them make a basket from the floor in the last minute 14?
Well, you think about the Campbell's last 6 points. It's been from the free throw line with a collection of players. Now with 74 seconds to go. Critical moments here for Campbell coming off a 21-win season. Campbell is in the bonus, and they have lived at the line. 24 free throw attempts in this game.
Rivera goes up to meet Serrano.
Lou on the switch, sets up Bolden, drives past Rivera. Can't make the bank shot. Chance to tie it here for the Eagles. White wants 2 quick ones. And free throws coming up for Keisha White.
Serrano unable to get in front of White. She reaches, draws the foul. White at the line with the opportunity to bring this game a little bit closer.
Keisha White, electric in this second half where she's come to life. Now with the free throw, she's got 9 points in this second frame. Her and Rivera have done the bulk of the damage in the second half.
And that's what we thought coming into this game, that those would definitely be the 2 leaders of this team.
Timeout called by Campbell. Ronnie Fisher with a 30-second timeout. So if you're Coach Fisher, your offense has gone cold the last 6 minutes, no field goals. Who do you want the ball in your hands, Coach Aaron Summers, or down the stretch?
I'm finding a way to get it to Bolden inside. She's going to fight. She's going to try to get the ball in the basket, and if not, hopefully draw a foul. She's had success at the line. If she can't get the 2 points from the floor, then hopefully she can come and get them from the line.
This Campbell squad squandered a 15-point lead. It's down to 1, and the shots just aren't falling today. Credit to NC Central defensively. They forced their bulk of turnovers. Coach Tricia Stafford-Odom has to be impressed with her level of intensity.
The Eagles turned up that intensity in the second half. Campbell was having a lot easier time on the offensive side without as much defensive pressure. Definitely the tides have changed.
One of their last 7 from the field of the Fighting Camels. And here's Tatiana Carver, the redshirt junior, to inbound it. And now pressure on Bolden, and early gives it up. Chance to settle things down. Serrano with McBride, gets her to slip and can't convert. Bolden the rebound. Offensive foul on Bolden. And Central now to the free throw line as they're in the bonus.
It's the right idea by Bolden to follow up the missed shot, try to get in and get the rebound. Just ticky-tack over the back call.
Yeah, on Washington. And Taya Bolden is now just fouled out of this game. That's her 5th. So Michaela Coleman comes in. Since it is an offensive foul, no free throws awarded, but both teams are now at the charity stripe the rest of this game. As there's a quick discussion with our lead referee, John Holmes. Oh, it is a shooting foul. Okay, that's what we thought initially. Both teams were in the bonus, and now Central to the free throw line. Ronnie Fisher can't believe it.
Central now with the opportunity to take the lead at the line.
The Eagles have not held the lead since the 7:35 mark of the first quarter. A rampant comeback, and they can do it right here with Nicole Hope, the transfer from ECU. And hits her first free throw of the season to tie this game up at 57.
With the foul trouble on both sides, if this game does go into overtime, that will be a huge, huge factor.
The game stays tied on the miss, and a timeout called by Ronnie Fisher. He's got one left. So Campbell in this fourth quarter, haven't gotten anything to fall. 3 of 11 from the field, turnover rampant in the final frame. What must the Fighting Camels do to get a quality possession here down the stretch?
They need to move the ball, set their offense, make sure that they find a good look without the threat inside. Bolden on the bench now with 5 fouls. They really need to make sure that they don't settle or force an ill-advised shot.
NC Central has clawed back into this game, despite the fact they haven't scored in 2.5 minutes either. Really a free throw shooting contest down the stretch. Two teams that pride themselves in opposite ways. The Eagles want to run and gun, the Camels want to grind it out, and we're sort of stuck in the middle like a nice PB&J here in a tight lock game.
Both head coaches, though, put a lot of emphasis on defense. They want their identity to be hard, physical defense. We've seen that on both sides at times, but really in the second half from the Eagles.
NC Central led by Keisha White with 17. Rivera has 14. And the Camels with 3 players with 14 or more, but Taya Bolden is just fouled out for Campbell. Going to be some new faces finishing this game off. Here in the final 33 seconds. It's in the hands of the junior point guard, Luana Serrano out of Portugal. Rivera, the defensive assignment, playing with 3 fouls. Here we go. Pick coming from Carver. Serrano on the switch. Gets inside with 3. Staves with 1. Has it stolen away by White. Oh, and a shot clock violation. Although that probably should have been a free ball, free possession. Wow, critical turnover there down the stretch. And trying to figure out the call here.
Either way, it stops the momentum that the Eagles had off of that possible steal.
And with no timeouts, they can't drop a play here. It sounds like the lead referee, John Holmes, didn't hear the buzzer for the shot clock. So with the turnover, he saw it and then eventually reset.
Now the Eagles stealing an opportunity to discuss what they do.
Because if I'm Coach Tricia Stafford Odom, I want Keisha White running up the floor with 5 seconds left. Let's take a look.
Absolutely. Here's the end around by Staves. The steal from White.
She had it with 1 on the clock, too. It wasn't like it was a steal right after the buzzer.
And she's ahead of everybody. She
yeah,
had
look
a
at that
clear
clock
lane.
right there in your top right. Clear steal with 1.
Right.
That's a free possession that Central should have.
That's what they are going to hate not having. White with an open floor in front of her, a clear lane to the basket.
So your score is 57 apiece. Campbell turns it over in the closing seconds, and now Ronnie Fisher has to rely upon that 4th-ranked scoring defense in the country last year to possibly force overtime in this game.
play with passion. That's what Fisher said he needed to see today. They have 4 seconds to really drive that home.
For NC Central, they went 13-17 last year, their best season in a decade. Now searching for a signature road win to kickstart this year. And Coach Tricia Stafford Odom has a full deck of cards to work with. And imagine Keisha White is a key piece here down the stretch.
I would think White gets the inbounds, the first pass, and she looks to throw it to a quick scorer.
What a start to the college basketball season. Down the stretch, a tie game. The Eagles trail by 15 in the third quarter and now have a chance to possibly win it here in the last seconds.
We put 0.6 seconds back on the clock, so we have 4.6 seconds for the Eagles.
The officials are conferring one more time about the proper inbounding point. So behind half court. Okay, here we go. Last possession, NC Central trying to win it. Both teams in the bonus could play a factor here in the closing seconds. Rivera on the catch. Rivera for the lead. Air ball. Keisha White is off. And we go to overtime. No foul called on the floor.
Everybody on the Central side thought that there was a foul. Have to see it again to see whether or not White did draw a hand.
So we go to overtime. When we come back, 5 minutes to decide it all.
We get one more look at this final play. The inbounds to White. She takes the shot. She had time too. Or Rivera, and then White there falls away. I'm not sure Serrano got her.
We go to a break. When we come back, overtime. Crazy finish down the stretch with a big miss by Anissa Rivera. NC Central unable to cash it in end of regulation. So we go to overtime along with Aaron Summers. I'm Evan Budrovich. These teams came down to a 3-point difference last year in Durham, much the same here today. And Aaron, the golden question is neither team has found offensive success in this fourth quarter. What's going to change to decide a winner here in Bowie's Creek?
This stoppage of play will be huge for the Camels. They like to slow the game down a little bit. It was really reeling there during the third quarter with the defensive intensity that the Eagles were bringing, got the Camels off of their game. Now they have the chance to reset. It's 0-0 again. It's anybody's game this next 5 minutes.
I find it fitting in the first game in nearly 260 days. We get extra basketball, and these teams both get tested. Keynote for Campbell, their starting forward, Taya Bolden, out with 5 fouls. Morgan Callahan off the bench for Central, out with 5 fouls as we begin overtime. Anissa Rivera wins the tip, and the Eagles start with the basketball here in this 5-minute overtime period. It was Campbell up 15 with 3:56 to go in the third, and NC Central came storming back, led by Keisha White with the ball right now. This is McBride, the freshman point guard, calling the shots. Blowing past Carver and banking it in.
Good job putting the ball on the floor, driving to the basket. That's exactly what they want to see from the Eagles.
Paris McBride with 4 critical points off the bench. And now the assignment on Carver. We mentioned coming in, Campbell without 2 senior veterans last year that were top scorers at 9 points a night. Who's going to fill that void as Tooley gets it started?
That's a good candidate right there. Tooley primed to fall into that position as a leader on the outside. She shows her versatility with that drive to the basket.
15 points now for Shai Tooley as Rivera launches a deep 2. A lot of contact, and the refs let him play. That basket by Tooley, by the way, was the first bucket for Campbell in 7 minutes, dating back to the 4th quarter. Here's Serrano, stripped loose by McBride, but it falls in the arms of Hampton. Shot clock did not reset. Carver, and there's a foul. So Campbell to inbound it. Shot clock resets to 20.
Any time that the play is stopped benefits Campbell. See, out of control. Carver didn't have a handle on that ball. The pass wasn't going to make it to another Campbell player.
And since both teams are in the bonus, that'll carry over to overtime as Carver misses the free throw. How about this? Both teams have missed. Campbell now 8, Central 7 free throws. And the game's so close, critical misses. 0 for 2, and a foul on Staves. That sends Central to the line. What a change of events.
Staves definitely foul going over the back, trying to get that rebound.
So Brittany Staves collects her first foul. Anissa Rivera, who has not attempted a free throw, oddly enough, tonight. She's the top scorer for Central coming in. Has 14 today. And make it, oh, that bounces out. The rims are not too kind here in overtime. NC Central now 13 of 21 as a team. Someone trying to take the lead. And there you go. 1 point difference.
It's a tough time to take your first 3 throws of the game in overtime. A super close game.
That's the first lead since the 7:35 mark of the first quarter. What has changed? Well, Keisha White's gotten involved with 17. And the energy of the Eagles has picked up big time. Here's Serrano. She's the junior, all-conference guard out of Portugal, trying to get this offense cooking. Staves cuts baseline, slips through, and counted. Offensive foul. Oh, it goes the other way.
The charge there on Staves. The player underneath was set. We take another look at it here. Staves coming in.
Yeah, a little bit of movement there on McBride, but she'll take it.
Tough call.
Under 3 minutes to go in overtime. Neither team able to pull away from the other. Tough shot for White. That's no good. And Staves again. It's now 3 fouls for Brittany Staves in this overtime period.
About 2 minutes, 15 seconds of playing time and 3 fouls. That's not a good ratio.
So that sends Anissa Rivera to the free throw line. Rivera the last 2 years in the MEAC has been the best rebounder in the league. While she didn't get the rebound that time, she caused some trouble, and now is a double-double with 17 and 12.
It's a good idea to drive to the rim, try to get the rebound, try to maybe get a foul call if you can, but you got to finish at the line.
Rivera 0 of 2, and off of Campbell. Ashland Hampton couldn't grab it thanks to the effort of Kiana Brown.
There's so many opportunities without the clock running. They've been able to get the opportunities at the line. They just haven't been able to capitalize on them. We'll see what the Eagles can do.
Oh, Staves steals it, but risky pass. Oh, man, you talk about playing with fire tonight. Both these teams slinging the ball around. 41 combined turnovers in this game. Little first game jitters. Thule for the lead. Nope. Rebound McBride. Back comes Central. Nearly a turnover. White through traffic, no good. Rebound White, and there's a foul on Keisha. That's the third foul for Keisha White, and she can't believe it.
I'm not sure why she's so surprised. You take a look at it. She clearly goes over on top of Serrano when she goes in to get the rebound.
There's an arm and a body there, but I appreciate the effort trying to fight for the call. And now Lou can go to the free throw line to give Campbell a lead here. Aaron, you weren't kidding. It might be the first team to make their free throws win this game because nobody's hitting from the field right now.
And she's 0 of 2 earlier. She had an opportunity late in the game to hit 2 from the line.
Still a 1-point difference as neither team can hit from the line today. Campbell at 57% from the charity stripe.
It's a safe bet. Everyone will be practicing them next week.
If you need a little Thanksgiving turkey meal, I think some free throws would be a good start. Tied up at 60 a pop. This is the junior college transfer, Sherelle Williams. Washington, little one-on-one ball with Thule. The pressure amping up defensively for Campbell. Rivera in the post on Coleman. Spins to her favorite right, no good. Hope the rebound, and Central up 2.
A great putback by Hope. Goes up there, grabs the rebound, and is able to finish. It's huge to get the 2-point lead for the Eagles.
5 points for Nicole Hope. Here's Serrano trying to tie it, and Rivera says not so fast. First block for Anissa Rivera.
Rivera definitely plays with some intensity. Serrano, the shorter player of the two, you see Rivera eyeing her down after blocking her shot.
Rivera led the MEAC with 68 blocks last year. That's in 25 games here, nearly 3 a game as Staves misses a 3 for the lead. And Campbell, the offensive board, fresh 20. Campbell has not hit a shot in this overtime period. Trying to win this game in uncharacteristic ways today. Rivera nearly steals it from Lauren Mack. Here's Staves baseline and a blocking foul late in the clock.
Wow.
Sends Brittany Staves to the free throw line with Hope collecting the foul.
Staves drives for the basket, and Hope was definitely moving all over the place. She's going to get called for that.
A lot of calls drawing ire from both these teams today. This is going to be free throw number 44 and 45 in this game.
And even though Campbell isn't getting the baskets on the offensive side, being able to stop the play and not allow the Eagles to run out to have that quick transition basketball that they like to have has been hurting the Eagles on their offensive side. They're not playing the game that they like to be playing right now.
Brittany Staves misses her first, so a critical second right here. And no good again. Did that touch Campbell? It did. Well, the official's going to come together and check this over, and it's Campbell basketball. And Trisha Stafford Odom is the high-pitched shrill you hear in the corner of this court. Let's see. Nope, nutmegged her. I don't think it touched her.
No, I think it went, yeah, underneath her, in between her legs.
A lot of substitutions now as Hampton comes in for Staves. And here's a second look at how we've gotten to this point with 1 minute and 3 seconds in overtime. Campbell down by 2. No field goals for the Fighting Camels in 3 minutes. NC Central clawing back with defense. Price for the lead, no good. McBride the rebound. The Eagles a chance to dribble this clock and work for a critical possession. This is their largest lead since the first quarter.
At 2 points.
It's been a tight one here in overtime. Lob into Rivera, collects her dribble, misses the layup, gets her own board. Rivera again, no. Rebound, Tooley. Tooley with plenty of time, spins in, ties it up with the layup. 62 apiece.
What
Last chance for the Eagles.
Great move by Tooley underneath.
White looks at the clock with 5. Keisha White lost it for the lead, no good. And no timeout. We go to a second overtime as Central again cannot finish.
Fisher's arguing that he did in fact call a timeout. Tooley with a spin move completes the play. Beautiful layup by Tooley. We're going into double overtime.
Down the stretch, Campbell needing baskets, leaning on Shai Tooley in overtime.
The great bucket inside by Tooley. On the other end, White with the ball. She waits until Rivera, when the go-to players, has some room, turns around. Rebound, finished by Hope. And again, it's Tooley driving towards the basket. Great spin move.
And that's with the game on the line. If she misses that shot, it's over. Instead, we go to a second overtime, something these teams have not done in over 5 years. But here we are in the start of 2020, a year that never seems to end. Much like this game, we continue for 5 extra minutes.
Tooley playing strong under pressure down the stretch.
In terms of foul trouble, keep an eye on Sherelle Washington, number 1 for NC Central. She's got 4. Serrano and Carver also playing with 4 fouls. As here's Nicole Hope slashing right in, no good. Whoop, tip, and who touched it last? That is off Campbell. It's NC Central ball. Oh no, it's Campbell ball. I'm getting very confused by these calls here.
Yeah, you can hear the emotions in the air as all the players fighting for possession, arguing their points.
So this game's only had 2 lead changes, Aaron, and yet it feels like punches have been thrown the entire fourth quarter and into overtime. It's now 62 a pop. Here's the questionable play on the baseline. And that's how we got to the second overtime, which has been jam-packed with intensity. Okay, so it's Campbell ball. We've gotten everything all figured out. Who's going to strike first in this second overtime? Into the post to McNamara Clement. She has it stolen, but a foul. Oh, that's on Campbell with the foul. And now free throws for NC Central.
It's a reach from McNamara Clement after she was unable to catch that pass, trying to get back the ball that she had just lost.
Ronnie Fisher not very pleased as Paris McBride goes to the free throw line. Just a freshman. It's her first free throw attempt, and she hits it. Coach Tricia Stafford Odom noticed a growth in her program at the end of the year, winning 7 of 8. This would be an impressive road win to start 2020. Two-point lead for the Eagles. Serrano's been quiet in this fourth quarter and overtime. Her and Thule have combined for 35 points. Thule off the pick, works into the corner, needs some help. Thule back to Elmack. It is stolen by McBride and the jump ball. Possession Campbell. Nice job by Paris McBride to get into the passing lane there and force the jump ball.
McNamara Clement holding on to the ball, not allowing the easy steal, forcing the jump ball.
You know, at some point, Aaron, one of these teams is going to have to pull away. I just don't know who in a matter of when. Here we are in the second overtime.
Both the coaches said that they were going to have to play like this could be their only game they get this season. And these ladies, they don't want the game to end.
They're enjoying every minute of this overtime on the first day of the season. Hampton spins, blocked by Keisha White, and saved by McBride into the cameraman. Central looking for its largest lead of this game, crazy enough. And here we are in the final minutes of overtime 2. Foul on Faith Price. More free throws for the Eagles.
That's not a foul that Coach Fisher wants to see, especially with this game being as close that it is. You don't want to give free opportunities at the line.
So McBride, who just hit 2 a moment ago, and misses her first. The bonus is carried over since the midway point of this fourth quarter. So we've seen now over the last, 12, 13 minutes, it's become a free throw contest down the stretch.
And honestly, either one of these teams could have pulled away had they made more of their shots.
2 misses at the line for McBride, as Central's now missed 12 from the charity stripe. Campbell's missed 14. Not as free as you'd think tonight. Faith Price on the back door, lays off. Staves drives in, is stripped by White. Gets it back and foul. That's Anissa Rivera, her 4th.
You see Staves with the ball, decides to drive inside, met by White and Rivera. And Rivera ends up with the contact and the foul called on her.
Yeah, that was on the second shot. So Staves to the line where she's 1 of 4 today. Make it 1 of 5. And at some point, Aaron, the bugaboos just keep coming up, but neither team has had an ability to hit from the charity stripe.
It's the first game in a shortened preseason, not a lot of practice, no summer, and then we're seeing some of those growing pains here in this first game.
Overtime number 2, it's a 1-point difference. The NC Central Eagles had never beaten Campbell in 10 tries until last year. They're going pound for pound here in overtime. Rivera from the wing, that's no good. Serrano's got it.
It's online, just a little bit long.
Serrano running and gunning to the basket. Oh, no foul, just tripped. And Campbell with its 27th turnover of this game.
Serrano a little out of control, just loses the ball out of bounds.
There's a lot of tape both these coaches, Tricia Stafford Odom of Central and Ronnie Fisher of Campbell, can learn from. I think first and foremost managing the pace of this game that has really picked up in overtime number 2. Here's Paris McBride bringing it up the floor. She's got 6 points, all in overtime.
The Eagles have been playing slower pace, trying to draw more time off the clock with the lead here late in the game.
Nicole Hope, one-on-one with Hampton, and it's blocked by Hampton. A fired up senior.
And that's a play that'll get a team going. In the defensive end, Hampton steps up with a big shot block there. You see the intensity.
Out of Advanced North Carolina making plays in this double overtime. White rattles it in. Largest lead of the game for NC Central, and it comes in double overtime. Serrano hasn't scored since the 3-minute mark of this fourth quarter. Let's see if she can get going. Out to Thule.
There's time on the clock, no need to force something right now. Still over 2 minutes left in the second overtime period.
Shot clock at 5. Here's Coleman cutting baseline. Lost it, and off the leg of Sherelle Washington. Just 3 seconds to work with.
Looks like Campbell's going to call a timeout. Make sure they use all of those 3 seconds wisely.
30-second timeout for Ronnie Fisher. So, Aaron, this game was a 15-point difference late in the third. What has NC Central done to not only get back into this game, but now have the lead?
They have played aggressive defense. Anytime Campbell has had the ball, they're collapsing on that ball handler. They're getting in the passing lanes, denying easy open looks like Campbell had early in the game from outside. They forced turnovers, and that's allowed them to go out to their run and gun offense that they like to play with. They've been finishing at the rim on their offensive side, and that's really what got them back in the game, denying opportunities on their defense, and Campbell not getting as many good looks.
In front of this sellout crowd of cutouts today, it's picking up intensity here.
They're certainly into the game.
Quarter number 6, if you will, second overtime. Campbell down 3 with 3 seconds to work with. Thule's got to get it off. This for the tie. Nope, air ball. Good pressure by Sherelle Washington to force the turnover. Okay, Aaron, so this is the moment in the game where Central's had its first chance to create separation. And really it's been on the arms of Paris McBride, the freshman, leading the charge in this overtime.
McBride shown a lot of maturity to be able to lead the team in such a close situation.
Coleman has the assignment of Keisha White, who fires from the free throw line and rattles home. Largest lead for NC Central. How will the reigning Big South champions respond? Hampton in the post, draws the triple team. Staves wide open. Can't hit the free throw shot. A lot of movement here. Serrano for 3, way off. Hampton fouled. And Keisha White nearly with a block. Instead, Hampton to the line.
Campbell really missing the presence of Bolden inside. Right now, Central knows that they don't have to worry about her as that threat. And they're able to really stay on the other offensive players.
And with that 5th foul, we have an injury to Paris McBride, who's slow to get off the floor. So McBride and the athletic trainer are going to help her off. And this play had all types of bounces and movement to it.
See Hampton going up and just right into White.
Hampton can't get the free throw. That is now 16 misses from the charity stripe for Ronnie Fisher's club.
The Campbells started so strong from the line, and as this game has progressed, it's definitely something they're going to look at.
Campbell is now 2
games.
of 10 in overtime. You're not going to win that way, especially in the second overtime.
Free throw so important down the stretch.
Keisha White's taken over this game with 21 points. That's a high for both teams. Final minute of overtime number 2. Can Central pull away? White inside to Rivera is stripped. Here comes Staves ahead of the pack. Coleman slashes up with the left and counted. Chance for a 3-point play.
Huge move. Staves passing the ball off. Coleman going straight to the basket, drawing the contact underneath. You count it and 1. Opportunity for a 3-point play and make it a 1-possession game.
That's the first basket for the field for Campbell in this entire overtime since the opening minute. They needed that bucket big time. And now the officials are going to check the call to see if it was a block or a charge. Here with 46 seconds left.
McBride out with an injury. We see White down on the other end of the court, being stretched out. These teams, no one's played this long at this level of intensity yet this season. I'm sure they're tired. See the cramps, the fatigue setting in on both ends.
Yeah, that's Keisha White, the top scorer, the senior guard from Washington, D.C., down for the moment. And Shai Tilley taking control of that huddle, trying to rectify her offense here in the closing minute. It's been a big learning curve today for both these teams, and I think that's something, win or lose, that Ronnie Fisher for Campbell and Tricia Stafford-Odom for Central will take as a positive from this game.
They're positive from both sides. Tooley has stepped up in a great way towards the end of this game, and then the intensity that Central played with to get back into the game when it was a 15-point difference.
Khadijah Demery comes in for the injured Keisha White for the moment. Bodies flying all over the court here in double overtime. And now Coleman looking to complete a 3-point play. Another missed free throw. That's 17 of them for Campbell tonight. So Khadijah Demery, the sophomore from Brooklyn, brings it up the floor. Big assignment late in this double overtime. Now Faith Williams, remember their best point guard, is out with a brief injury. And we have a foul on the floor. Ashlyn Hampton commits the harm. That's her second. So free throws all of a sudden for Anissa Rivera.
It's not a bad idea, as Rivera hasn't shown to be a threat from the free throw line.
Rivera, unfortunately, is just 1 of 4 from the stripe. So work for both sides here tonight. And the rim is not too kind tonight for Anissa Rivera. And that keeps it a 1-possession game, which is crazy given how little we've seen scoring in this double overtime. That's a big one. Timeout, Ronnie Fisher, 4-point difference. So Aaron, down the stretch, who's getting the basketball here if you're Ronnie Fisher?
I think that you have to go with a quick score because it's a 2-possession game. You're not going to get a 3-point foul and go for the chance to tie it. You go drive the basket, try to get a quick score, and I say you give it to Shai Tooley because she's proven that she can score both inside and out tonight.
19 points for Tooley, but they are without Taya Bolden, who fouled out late in the fourth quarter. Now with a 4-point difference, Campbell needs to put some points up here quickly to avoid a first ever loss against Central in this building. They're 5-0 all time. The Eagles have played Big South teams their last 4 years to open up the season, and could be a big one here on the road in double overtime. Right into the hands of Tooley, who's blocked by Rivera. Hampton gets it back. Her shot, no. Price the rebound. Price into the basket, no. Rivera rejection. Staves, that's a 3. It rattles out, and Nicole Hope can secure it. Campbell's got a foul here, 4 seconds left, and Demery is fouled. NC Central's going to come into Bowie's Creek with their defense and pull out a win in double overtime.
Campbell with 4 opportunities, 4 offensive rebounds in that stretch, not able to capitalize on any of them.
Critical misses for a bunch of players on the floor. And now Khadijah Demery, her first free throws of the night, unable to hit. Campbell does have a timeout with 2.8 to go. Demery to make this a 5-point difference. There you go. Timeout, Ronnie Fisher. He'll advance the ball to midcourt. And really, Aaron, the story of this game in overtime, Campbell 0 of 6 from downtown. Central, while they haven't hit a lot of free throws, they're 5 of 12. And a game where it's been a struggle to get points, the Eagles have found ways to convert down the stretch.
Campbell left, let's see, math, 10. They're 2 of 11 from the line, so they left 9 points at the free throw line. Stop laughing at me, I can see you under your mask.
Nope, under the mask, but you're right. NC Central, they have certainly made life tough for Campbell defensively. And you know, with 2 seconds left, really that last possession that tells the story of this game. Campbell 4 straight looks, pretty open opportunities, and just couldn't get the basket to go.
I said it earlier, but definitely missing that force in Bolden underneath. She not only knows how to score underneath, but she knows how to go up strong and draw that contact.
This is the play of the game right here. Campbell with not 1 good look, Rivera the block, not 2 good looks. Faith Price trying to make a third of it. Rivera 2 blocks on 1 play.
Really great defense by the Eagles.
And then a wide open shooter, that doesn't rattle in. Really so many chances. Under 3 seconds to go. Campbell down by 5. That's a steal, and that's your ball game. NC Central down by 15 in the third quarter. Comes storming back, forces double overtime, and a 5-point win for the upstart NC Central Eagles here to open up 2020.
It all started with the Eagles' defense. They turned it on defensively, and they turned that into offensive opportunities. They got some stops, and they run into the rim quickly to close the game, force double overtime in the first game of the season.
Central had chances to win it in regulation and overtime. They pull it off in double OT. That's going to finish things up here in Bowie's Creek alongside Aaron Summers. Evan Budrovich signing off as NC Central gets a double overtime win. What a gem of a ball game. Keisha White telling the story with 21 points. We'll see you next time here on ESPN+.